I recently done a video. It was in relation to a community post that Steve Huff had done, covering his plans for 2021. Now there was an interesting comment that just was posted, and I'm going to go to that now, and I'm going to talk about it for a few minutes. Right, I'm going to get the comment up now, which just come through actually. So let's. Yeah. Hi Sam, I like watching you and where you take your sessions, along with your device technical innovations, etc. You know much more than I do when it comes to investigations and spirit boxes. Though there's more than one road to Rome, as they say. Perhaps I can learn from Steve and Josh too. They seem also to be technical innovators in terms of devices, apps, development, meditation. On good, I don't know. Watch this space. You see, there is so many unanswered questions in ITC, in the paranormal field. A lot of the time I try to separate ITC with the paranormal, ghost hunting side, as it were. Now, see, the thing which I knew up until this point was I knew about some of the ITC researchers that have been researching for many years, 20, 30 years. For me it started out with Marcello Bacci. Più amicizia, e così sarà un cuore morto, chiuso, senza più movimento di respiro. Troveremo una gioia interiore di chi si sente sciolto, chiamato perdono.
La voce dell'entità Cordula si rivolge a me, il realizzatore di questo servizio. Cordula mi è sconosciuta. Mi parla in tedesco, lingua che conosco bene e che Bacci non parla.
And that was a complete and utter nightmare. In the beginning, all we could see is a guy was getting direct radio voices from static from a radio. Even when the valves in this old radio was removed and should not even function, he was getting responses. Now it was believed that he was getting voices from people that had passed on. So there was starting to become gatherings in the local hall, and Marcello Bacci would do regular sessions to try to get people in contact with their loved ones. And it to me that started off my curiosity sort of thing. And then you had other people, like Annabella Cardoso and people like that. But a lot of people in the ghost hunting community wouldn't even know anything about that. Some people in the ghost hunting community don't even know Frank Sumption. Yes, they use a PSP-7. Now, the thing about Steve Huff is this is a difficult one. He started off like a lot of other people, using the scan method of the hack radio ghost box, and then he went into this pedals and amplifier thing. Now he wasn't the first person to actually experiment with it. But the problem is what's more dominant with Steve Huff now is his YouTube channel and his fame. And he's what he's doing is he boasts, and he believes he's got better communication than anybody else. I don't want this to be a bashing video. I don't want it that way. But in my other video, I said that he had planned to write a book on his 10 years of ITC research. Thing is, there's other people out there that have been doing it 20, 30, 40 years. And yes, pick what you want out of whatever people are doing, but keep an open mind. I personally, I was interested to see what Steve Huff was doing, but when videos started coming out of so-called responses on dead celebrities, and the words that were exactly said were something that they said on a YouTube video, then I have a lot of questions in relation to that. He has another belief too, that white noise it hinders communication. When these older researchers, the basis of their research is white noise. So it is a difficult one. People are confused. I can understand that, and they will be wowed by Steve Huff. But a lot of the time, nobody is wowed by Annabella Cardoso, Marcello Bacci. I know Marcello Bacci is difficult because all the footage, 99.9% of footage of Marcello Bacci, it's an Italian. And way back when we done this first, it was a mammoth task because we didn't know Italian, and we had to look at VHS video, and try to figure out what he was doing, and we couldn't figure that out. We had to try and translate some of the words, which was pretty hard, because some of the words may have been mispronounced, and we were writing down, and we couldn't even spell some of these words, so it was extremely difficult. But like people that want to look into ITC and stuff like that, look into these researchers. Annabella Cardoso, I think about a year ago, started a channel, and it has at this moment in time about 400 subscribers, but a massive wealth of information on ITC research. People get very confused about EVPs. They see the ghost hunters going out and asking a couple of questions on a recorder, stopping it, playing it back, asking questions like that, and then a lot of them just throw the idea out the window. Oh, we don't get very much success with EVPs. EVPs is a very, it's not a complicated thing, but it is just, it's a little bit more complex than just pressing a recorder and asking for responses. I'm not saying in any way that using a recorder with no background audio support that you can't get EVPs, because I've got EVPs on my camera. It does work, but the basis around the ITC researchers is to use some background audio support, like static from a radio without human voices in them. I just wanted to clear that one up. You know, these other researchers, to take into account that, you know, white noise plays an important part. You know, they use a radio, a static from a radio, on a set frequency, and a lot of them would use a frequency only used in their country, as an emergency frequency for the government to use, so no other radio stations can use that frequency. Now, that frequency is different to each country, but they use those frequencies for the white noise to guarantee that there's no human voices coming through. The reason why I'm mentioning the radio frequency is that to do the EVPs, they record background audio support, which could be the static from a radio or other white noise, pink, brown noises, you know, but most of them are, you know, they use the white noise from the radio, not too loud, not too low, but have that noise in the room while they're recording their EVPs. So not just recording and asking questions. They're using the background audio support because they believe that in order to build the voices, they believe that the spirits use the noise to make the words, you know, because the spirits don't have a voice box to project that voice. So the white noise proved very, very useful in their EVP research. You know, you know, people do want to learn. They do want answers and that. But you know, I'm not going to recommend Steve Huff. I never have. But people make their own choices. I understand that. And in the beginning, I was taken in by Steve Huff too. But when you start lying, that's when there's a problem. You know. But you know, for me, the older researchers that have been doing it for 20, 30, 40 years is going to hold up more ground than somebody doing it for 10 years and doing the same thing. And here's the thing. YouTube is a platform to make videos, right? But people have a habit of grading people by the amount of views and subscribers they have on their YouTube channel. Annabella Cardoso at this moment in time has something like 440 subscribers. I've got over 2,000. Does that make me better than her? Absolutely no way. Paranormal researchers or ITC researchers, their priority is not YouTube. And I can assure you that Annabella Cardoso knows 100 times more than what I do. And you have to question too, is he doing this for the research or for the money? Here's the thing. Here's what I see with Steve Huff. Yes, there's been researchers that have been researching for 30 or 40 years. But he believes he can do it better. That's what I'm seeing. I'm not saying that's the case, but he seems to be trampling on the research every opportunity, believing he's the best and he can do it better than they done, and they're doing it wrong. But in the meantime, nobody's actually listening to him. You know, when you see, you know, he doesn't get involved on his channel. He doesn't have anybody in ITC field on his videos. He doesn't have conversations with other people on his videos. Most of the time he's on his own, or he's got Josh who, you know, is actually just following him. So there's not that community with him. But these other researchers, they will Zoom call each other, and a lot of these people, I've seen a Zoom call, and there must have been about 10 or 15 people in that Zoom call. They're all the ITC researchers. But he doesn't seem to fit in there for some reason. But all, you know, what I'm seeing is he wants his name in lights in paranormal research and innovations, which he doesn't talk too much about. I'm going to tell you exactly how it works. But it's like a politician answer, where they circle around the area. They'll tell you so much, but they won't tell you I can't tell you the ultimate secret, otherwise somebody will copy me, and, you know, it's my work sort of thing. I can understand that, but there's a lot of shady questions there. With these older ITC researchers, the overall goal is to get communication and try to understand what and who the communicators are and how they achieve communication. End of. There is no monetary gain behind that. The ultimate gold treasure is the communication and the research, not a way of making money. And, you know, Steve Huff makes a lot of money, and that kind of comes under a bit of questioning. You know, it's you know, it's some of these debunked videos are very, very solid, let us say. But he never addressed any of it. You know, he's carrying on regardless, and then he's saying, oh, never mind the haters, they're just jealous and stuff. And if you question him in any way, and I have in the past questioned him in a very respectful way, and I got blocked from his channel, you know, and I can't comment. My comments will be hidden, you know, and his comment section is full of very positive things, praising him, and he seems to be lapping that up, and it's a bit cringy to me. Debate's not hate, as order of magnitude says, you know. There seems to be a lack of transparency across the board. You know, that's where I have a problem. You know, dead celebrity spurt box sessions, you will see a pattern of if a video goes beyond 1 million views, 9 times out of 10 you'll see a follow up very, very quickly afterwards. So, you know, I'm not of that life, I'm afraid. You know, people, I have had a comment and says, you know, please get back on track, don't talk about Steve Huff, and do your own stuff. You know, your channel is about your stuff. It's not about what other people are doing. No, I get that, I understand that, and I don't I don't get into a habit of calling out other people. There's a lot of other people that could be called out, but the reason why Steve Huff is often targeted is because he puts other people down in the ITC field. Not directly, but indirectly, and doing things in the ITC field that is damaging the whole community. And we would rather keep our gob shut and get on with our own stuff, but sometimes we do have to call stuff out. The last video was just a make fun video. I didn't mean any offense by it. I'm just I was just amused by the community post. But at the end of the day, this guy claims that he is the best. He's got the best EVPs. He's got the best spurt box sessions. He's got the best equipment ever in ITC, which is completely and utterly untrue. And you can see a narcissism there where he is better than anybody else. We don't make videos because we're jealous. I'm far from jealous, It's just that it damages and tramples on the ITC field as a whole, and taking advantage of that. And that's why we sometimes have to make these videos, It's not about him getting over 1 million subscribers, And as I says, over 1 million people have fallen for his bullshit. That's my view. That's just it. In general, I just get on my own stuff. Very, very rarely do I go over to Steve Huff's channel, because to me it's just wasting my time. Other people have their opinions. I understand that, and I do get comments on my Huff videos saying we have to agree to disagree, but I get your point, and being very, very respectful, and I've been respectful back, and that's a good thing. That is a good thing. At the end of the day, people are going to make their own mind up, but they did take time to watch my video, and at the end of the day, they disagreed with me, but they didn't lash out at me, which is a good thing, Debate's not hate, as they say. But, there is other researchers out there that do great work. They're not making massive YouTube channels. They're not trying to get themselves out there. They just enjoy the work, and Annabella Cardoso is one of those, and she's been doing advice videos, and I hope she does another one soon, because it's well overdue, because she's been in the field for a long time, and the wealth of information is very valuable to us in ITC, but in the general sense, on the YouTube environment, a lot of people want to listen to pareidolia and get excited by it. There is a lot of that about, and I've made mistakes myself, but it's good to see. It's good to look at these older researchers and what the basis of their research is, rather than just getting a spurt box and turning it on and see what happens in that, because it takes a lot more than just listening out. People do live streams. There is a lot of live streams. I do a lot of live streams with the Scan radio box. The thing is, if I don't put in subtitles, and I do a premiere, you get people in the chat and they'll say it said this, but somebody else will say it's something that they heard something else. So it is a very, very difficult one. But I did make a comment on an Order of Magnitudes channel recently about, I was trying to explain how I feel about a possible response on a radio, scanned frequency radio. You know, you have to listen out for the average length of time that one person on the radio speaks is 2 or 3 words, you know, a couple of seconds. And the average sort of tone, and then sometimes when the possible response comes through, sometimes that communication is longer than the average couple of words from the radio DJ or the person on the radio, and the tone is slightly different. And I was saying that it takes a long time, but you have to sort of tune your ears to it. But then there's always a question with a radio scan: is it radio? Because the background audio support is human voices, you know. So these other older researchers don't use that because of the possibility of pareidolia, and they try as much as possible to keep human voices out of their background radio support. So, you know, there's a lot of confusion around ITC, around ghost hunting. There's so many different things, because there is not there's not a right set of rules and a wrong set of rules, because a lot of the theories around it is theories at the end of the day. I wanted to cover as well, you know, people say, oh, you're very knowledgeable and you know a lot about technology and equipment and stuff. The answer is I'm not. I'm just putting it out there, I'm not. I work off other people's ideas. I get my ideas from other people's ideas. Yeah, I'll try different things and stuff, but a lot of time they've already been somebody else's ideas and I just try them. You know, yes, I have loads of spare boxes, I have loads of radios, I have loads of recorders, I have loads of cameras and stuff, but that doesn't make me better than anybody else. You know, when you take Annabella Cardoso's videos and you know what the messages that she's putting out in her how-to videos, you don't need an awful lot of stuff. She says, you know, she records from the computer and she uses Sony radios. You know, she's not talking about masses of audio studio equipment and stuff. Yes, she does talk about, you know, she's been in the University of Acoustics with other people doing research and stuff like that. But a lot of, you know, these videos that she's doing, she's using an ordinary radio, an ordinary Sony radio, you know, with shortwave, medium wave, long wave, and FM frequencies in it. It's just a flipping radio and a recorder, you know. And she's saying you can use digital recorders, analog recorders, you can use your computer, stuff like that. It's you know, it's not heavy investment that you need, you know, to get EVPs, you know. You know, so, you know, I don't read very much actually. You know, you can Google lots of things, and If I see big massive paragraphs, I can't read it, and very often it's YouTube videos that I get a lot of the information from. But the thing is, a lot of these older researchers that have been doing it 30 or 40 years, you know, they do it for the research. They don't do it to make videos. And in fact, a lot of videos, if they had recorded and put everything in videos, you know, the background to doing the EVP research and stuff, it's quite boring, because getting EVPs is not an easy task. It's quite boring, and that's why when I was younger, I gave up on it. I gave up on it after a while, because I was young, I had other interests, you know, and I wasn't very patient. But, you know, it's gone full circle. I thought it'd never come back to this, but it's gone full circle, and I'm back doing it and that. And, you know, a lot of the stuff in the background, it's not, you know, I'm not putting it on videos because it's long and boring. It can be boring, you know. You're going through recordings without any fruit some of the time, a lot of the time, and that's why there's no videos, you know. But you know, the object of getting the EVPs is to understand what is out there, and it's not to make YouTube videos. And that's why some of the time you won't get a lot from these researchers, because the priority is actually the research, do you know. Actually, a lot of the researchers that I spoke about were doing this before the internet, so you know, they would have recordings, and would have recordings at home and stuff like that. They weren't putting it out on the internet because there was no internet, you know, that long ago. You'll get people that do spirit box sessions and stuff like that, and people are praised them. Oh, that was great, and oh, you're a great ITC researcher and all the rest of it. At the end of the day, these older ITC researchers, they're very humble people, a lot of them, you know. They're not going to praise themselves. They'll praise the communicators that do give them answers, and that's the important thing. And sometimes that's forgotten. You know, when you're doing this, you know. So I don't know any more than a lot of other people. I'm in the learning process again myself, you know. So, you know, yeah, I may look like I know a lot of things to the person that doesn't do ITC research and stuff, but at the end of the day, a lot of these other people paved the way for us to try and do it and try and get results ourselves, you know. So you know, it's them. It's got nothing. You know, it got nothing to do with us. You know, and even those pioneers in ITC research, they don't clap themselves on the back. It's because the communicators give them what they're searching for, you know, and that is the gold. That is the satisfaction, and the credit goes to them. You know, not the ITC researcher themselves, because at the end of the day, they're providing the sources for them to communicate. But it's the communicators that communicate. You know, I'm going to leave it, folks. I just wanted to cover that. You know, yeah. I mean, like people are taken in. There's a lot of people taken in by, you know, Huff Paranormal and that, and you know, I've already said in other videos that I don't trust what he's doing. I think the priority is financial gain and stuff like that, not not spur communication. Every single video has spur communication. That's red flags to me. Um, it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen like that. Yet people are going to argue, well, he's working on this new technology, and the communicators are finding it easier than the old method. I don't think so. I don't think so, because at the end of the day, he's got a couple of black marks, um, in relation to overlaid audio. He can deny it all he wants, but it's there plain for me to see. I've seen it, and when that happens, you have to. You see, this is all about trust. It's about trusting the person that you're watching, and that trust was broken. As far as I'm concerned, in the comment they mentioned about meditation and stuff like that. Yes, I mean, like, sometimes he has good things to say in that line and stuff, and he's got a belief in God. But is he pulling the God card to make people like him? There's an element of that believes that makes me believe that he's pulling the God card so he looks like the good guy. At the end of the day, I don't really want to talk about him anymore, to be honest with you. The older researchers don't want to talk about him anymore. Well, older researchers never talked about him in the first place. I did see a couple. I did hear him say one or two things about these so-called gadgets and stuff like that. But these older researchers are sticking to their guns, which white noise is a background audio support for EVPs, and that has been for a long time, and that as I continue doing that, rather than the Franksumption method, which we all use now, and that they don't like that, because a lot of them don't like that because of the radio voices and that. But I do know myself that there's been some very, very questionable things come up on the radio. There is sometimes something is answering back through that method, but then there's always a question mark over it, because the background audio support is human voices at the end of the day. Is it pareidolia? I don't believe it all is. I know some of it is. There's a lot of it that is. But there is a handful of times, there's a handful of times where you are left completely gobsmacked, and you just cannot explain it, because that response is different than the average scan. When you listen to it, it's all about tuning your ears to that scan, the speed of the scan, the average tone of the scan, the amount of words that come out from one frequency to the other, and then if it sometimes there's a break in that where a possible response is longer than it. It's a different tone, and it does stand out. So at the end of the day, it's all about trying your own thing. And these older researchers will tell you it's about what you are comfortable in doing, and what you believe that you might get things from, but I would look for further afield than just the popular YouTube videos and the YouTubers. There's always a question: is YouTube a priority over the research? That's the thing. And very often, some of the most valuable information is the stuff hidden in YouTube that nobody gets to see very much, you know. So I'm going to leave it for now, folks. I just thought I would comment on that comment. I thought it was a very interesting comment, you know. So I will see you in the next video, and possibly I will go through a little bit of bits and pieces of Annabella Cardoso's research in the line of EVPs, and why I don't generally do what a lot of the ghost hunters do and ask 2 or 3 questions and stop and listen back and, you know, that kind of thing. Generally I don't do that, and I'm going to give the reasons why, and you know, a couple of tips on how you may spread the net a little bit further in the line of EVPs and stuff like that, even on locations where you're in abandoned places, or the places where ghost hunting people go, and paranormal investigators and stuff like that. Anyway, folks, I will see you in the next video.